Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on something most of us only really see in, crime shows, digital forensics. It's this really intricate science of figuring out what actually happened in the digital world, even when someone's tried hard to make it all disappear. This deep dive is basically a shortcut to understanding how these modern digital detectives work, the kinds of amazing facts they uncover, and what this invisible trail really means for your digital life. So, when we talk digital forensics, we're often picturing some kind of lab, right? Not necessarily sterile white coats, but definitely a place packed with high-tech gear, tools designed to look deep inside devices. It's where every single byte might tell part of the story. And getting that story out takes both hardware and some pretty powerful software.
Okay.
Let's unpack the hardware first. What's the absolute first thing an analyst needs in their toolkit, like the non-negotiable piece?
Right. The very first thing, and you really can't start without it, is a write blocker. Its whole job, fundamentally, is to sit between the investigator's computer and the evidence drive and physically stop any data being written back to that drive.
Okay. So it prevents accidental changes.
Exactly. Even something tiny like the operating system updating a timestamp when you plug it in, that could technically alter the evidence. So the write blocker ensures that data integrity, which is crucial for court. It's like, not leaving your own fingerprints all over a crime scene.
Gotcha. So it's not just good practice, it's legally vital. Okay. So the drive's protected. What's next? How do you actually look at the data without messing with the original?
That's where hardware cloners come in. Think of them as super sophisticated photocopiers or hard drives. They create what's called a forensic image. And that's a perfect bit-for-bit duplicate of the entire original drive.
Bit for bit. So everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Every single one and out. Deleted files, the empty spaces, what we call slack space, unallocated clusters. All of it. It's an exact mirror image. Then the original drive gets sealed up, usually in an anti-static bag, maybe even a Faraday bag to block any signals, and put into secure storage.
Okay.
All the analysis happens on that clone, that forensic image. The original evidence stays pristine. Devices like the Tableau TD2U or Atola Task Force are built just for this speed and accuracy.
Wow. Okay. That sounds like quite a process just to get started. But what if the drive isn't just, got deleted files on it, but it's actually physically damaged, dropped, burned, soaked?
Yeah, that happens. That's when you need data recovery rigs. These are really specialized setups. Sometimes you're talking clean rooms, microscopic work. They're designed to pull data off drives that are severely corrupted, damaged, even partially destroyed.
Seriously, even from a submerged laptop.
Oh, yeah. There are definitely cases, famous ones even, where analysts have recovered crucial evidence from drives that were underwater, burned in fires, you name it. It takes incredible skill replacing components, maybe even swapping cladders. It's painstaking stuff. But sometimes it's the only way to get that vital piece of evidence.
Okay, that covers the physical side. Amazing. Now, once you have that clean image, that perfect copy, how do analysts start making sense of potentially huge amounts of data? What's the software side look like?
Right, the software. They're these big, comprehensive suites that do a lot of the heavy lifting. EnCase is, well, one of the originals, a real powerhouse. It's known for being really thorough imaging, deep file system analysis, powerful search features, generating reports. It has modules for specific things too, like email analysis or digging into the Windows registry.
Kind of the industry standard for a long time, right?
It has been, yeah. Very robust, handles really complex cases from start to finish. Very well respected in court.
Are there other major players? Maybe something with different strengths, or say for investigators who don't have massive budgets?
Definitely. FTK, which stands for Forensic Toolkit, is another big one.
Mm-hmm.
People often like it for its speed, especially how fast it indexes data.
Indexing, like for searching.
Exactly. Makes keyword searches across huge data sets really fast and efficient. It's also great for timeline analysis and file carving, which we can talk about. And then, yeah, for an open source option, there's Autopsy. It's built on something called a sleuth kit, and it's incredibly powerful. It does disk imaging, keyword search, metadata analysis, lots of the core stuff. And because it's free, it's really popular, especially, with law enforcement agencies or smaller labs.
Interesting. So these big suites have graphical interfaces, presumably make things easier to visualize, but I hear lots of experts still swear by command line tools, like the text-based stuff.
Oh, absolutely. For experienced analysts, command line tools offer incredible precision and flexibility and speed for specific tasks. Tools like D for imaging, it gives you really fine control. grep for finding patterns in text or raw data incredibly quickly. Strings can pull out readable texts from binary files, which is useful. And then there's the volatility framework. That's huge for memory forensics analyzing RAM dumps.
Right.
The thing is, you can script these tools, automate complex tasks. So for certain things, they're just much more efficient, especially if you need a custom analysis.
Okay, so what's fascinating here is how all these tools, from the physical write blocker to these complex software suites and even command line stuff, it's not just about grabbing data. It's about using them carefully, methodically, to piece together what happened digitally, turning raw bits and bytes into a story that holds up.
Precisely. It's about reconstruction and validation.
You mentioned disk imaging again, that bit-for-bit copy. Can you elaborate a bit more on why that specific type of copy is so important? What's bitstream versus maybe just copying files?
All right, good question. A bitstream image is critical because it copies everything on the storage medium, the whole thing, bit by bit, not just the files you can see. It includes the file system structure itself, the parts of the drive that aren't currently holding active files, it's the unallocated space, and importantly, slack space.
Slack space. What's that exactly?
Okay, so files are stored in chunks or clusters. Sometimes a file doesn't fill up the last cluster completely. The leftover space in that cluster is slack space, and often it contains fragments of whatever data used to be stored there. Deleted data.
Ah, hidden remnants.
Exactly. A logical image, on the other hand, just copies the active files and folders that the operating system currently knows about. It misses all that potentially crucial data in the unallocated and slack spaces. So for forensics, the bitstream image is the only way to go. It captures every possible place data could be hiding. Like we say, if you didn't image it bit for bit, you probably missed something.
Makes sense. So when you're looking for those deleted files, especially in that unallocated or slack space, how do you find something the file system itself has basically forgotten about?
That's where file carving comes in. It's a technique that kind of ignores the file system directory structure altogether. Instead, carving tools scan the raw data of the drive image, looking for known patterns, specific signatures that mark the beginning and end of different file types.
Like a digital fingerprint for a file type?
Exactly. For example, JPEG image files almost always start with the hex code FFD8 and end with FFD9. PDF files start with Perfon PDF. So the tool scans for that starting signature, reads the data until it finds the ending signature or guesses the size, and carves out that chunk of data trying to reconstruct the file.
Wow. So it's like finding puzzle pieces without the box picture?
Kind of, yeah. It's powerful for recovering deleted files. The challenge is sometimes files get broken up, fragmented across a disk, or they might have non-standard signatures. So carving isn't always perfect. You can get incomplete files or false positives.
Right. Still amazing it works at all. Okay, so you've potentially recovered a bunch of files. You have logs. How do you put it all in order? Understand the sequence of what happened when?
That's timeline analysis. It's fundamental. Almost every action on a computer leaves some kind of timestamp. Creating a file, modifying it, accessing it, those are called MAC times. Then you have system event logs, browser histories, email headers, chat logs, tons of timestamp data points.
So you gather all of those.
Yep. Tools like Plasso or Log2Timeline or features built into suites like Autopsy and FTK, they hoover up all these timestamps from all over the place. They normalize them because times can be stored differently and then present them in one single chronological timeline. This lets you see, minute by minute if needed, what was happening. When did the user log in? When was this file downloaded? When was that external drive plugged in? You build the narrative.
Okay, that makes total sense for data stored on the disk. But what about things happening right now on a computer? The live stuff. What about RAM?
Ah, yes, memory forensics. That's crucial because RAM, random access memory, holds all the volatile data, the stuff that disappears when you power off the machine.
Like what kind of stuff?
A gold mine, potentially? Running processes, open network connections, command history, sometimes even passwords or parts of encryption keys that are currently being used. If there's malware running, especially sophisticated stuff designed to hide from the disk, it might only exist in RAM.
So you have to capture it while the system is live?
Ideally, yes.
Yeah.
Or very soon after it was last powered. Tools like the volatility framework are designed specifically to analyze a dump or image of the system's RAM. It's like getting a snapshot of the computer's brain at a specific moment. You can reveal what the system was actively doing, things you'd never find just looking at the hard drive.
It feels like putting together a giant, complex puzzle. You've got pieces from the hard drive image, maybe carved files, the timeline, stuff from RAM. How do experts actually connect all these different dots, especially if data comes from multiple devices?
That's really where the skill and experience come in. It's all about cross-referencing and correlation.
Yeah.
You might see browser history showing someone searched for how to securely wipe a drive, right? Then timeline analysis shows large file deletions happening shortly after, followed by a system cleaning tool being run.
Uh-huh. Building a picture. Yeah.
Exactly. Or IP addresses from chat logs might match login times on a specific server. Geolocation data from a phone might corroborate or contradict someone's alibi. Email timestamps line up with document modification times found on a USB stick. You're constantly looking for links, overlaps, inconsistencies, building hypotheses and testing them against the data. It's iterative. One finding often sheds light on another.
Right, it's not just running a tool, it's the analysis connecting everything.
Precisely. Synthesizing it all into a coherent, supportable finding.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's talk about some real-world impacts. Where has digital forensics really been the key to unlocking a case or understanding a major event? Maybe start with ransomware takedowns. We hear about these huge attacks like Colonial Pipeline or disruptions of groups like Lockbit. How does forensics help fight back?
Oh, it's absolutely critical in those cases. It's not just about recovery. Forensic teams go in deep. They'll image the compromised servers to figure out how the attackers got in, what tools they used, how they moved around the network. They'll analyze network traffic logs. Crucially, they often trace the ransom payments. Even with crypto like Bitcoin, transactions are on the blockchain. Tools like Chainalysis help follow the money, looking for links to known criminal wallets or exchanges.
So you can follow the money trail, even with crypto.
It's difficult, but often possible, yes. They also look for mistakes the attackers made, maybe reusing infrastructure, leaving traces of their own tools, or fragments of decryption keys. Sometimes they can even recover keys used to encrypt the data. It's a massive effort to understand the attackers' methods, identify them if possible, and disrupt their operations. Digital breadcrumbs everywhere.
Incredible. What about newer threats, like deepfakes, things designed to look perfectly real? How can forensics possibly debunk those?
That's a huge emerging challenge. Deepfake debunking is becoming its own specialty. When you suspect a video or audio is fake, analysts look for tiny telltale signs. Metadata analysis first. Are the creation timestamps weird? Does the file contain traces of known editing software? Tools like Median Info help there. Then they look at the content itself. Are there inconsistencies in lighting or shadows? Do facial expressions look unnatural? Blinking patterns can be off. Sometimes the edges where the fake face meets the real background have artifacts. And now, there are AI tools being developed specifically to detect the subtle digital fingerprints left behind by the AI algorithms used to create deepfakes. It's an arms race, really.
Wow, an AI arms race. Okay, another area maybe more common in the corporate world is intellectual property theft. The classic employee walks out the door with company secrets scenario.
Ah, yes, the great copy-paste caper, as some call it. Happens all the time. Forensics is key there. You'd image the ex-employee's work computer, maybe personal devices if there's a legal basis. Then you meticulously go through file access logs. What did they access right before they left? Download histories. Cloud sync logs. Did they sync company data to a personal account? USB device usage logs. What was plugged in, when, and what files were copied?
So you're looking for that digital trail of data leaving.
Exactly. Timeline analysis is huge here. You want to show that sensitive data was accessed or copied before they resigned, or maybe just after they accepted a job with a competitor. Email analysis, too. Did they email files to themselves? Search history. Were they researching competitors? It's about building that clear picture of intent and action using the digital evidence.
Okay, so this power to uncover so much hidden information is obviously immense, which brings us to the flip side. Privacy and ethics. How do practitioners handle that balance?
That's probably the most critical consideration. It's a constant tightrope walk. The power is immense, and it absolutely has to be wielded responsibly and legally. The chain of custody is paramount. It's not just red tape. It's the foundation of miscible evidence.
Explain that a bit more, the chain of custody.
It's the meticulous, unbroken record of who handled the evidence when, where, and why, from the moment it's seized until it's presented in court. Every single step. And at each handover, you verify its integrity, usually by calculating a hash value like an MD5 or SHA-256 checksum. It's a unique digital fingerprint.
So you can prove nothing's been changed.
Exactly. If that hash value changes at any point, it means the data has been altered and the evidence could be thrown out. If the chain of custody documentation is incomplete or flawed, same result. It has to be airtight. Beyond that, there are ethical codes, rules about proportionality, only searching for relevant data and handling incidental findings carefully. It requires real discipline.
Right. The integrity of the process is everything. This leads perfectly into this idea you mentioned, your digital ghost. How does all this forensic capability connect to just us, our everyday online lives?
Your digital ghost is essentially the sum total of all those little traces you leave behind online, constantly. Every click, like, search, purchase, check-in, even just scrolling. It all creates data. These traces aren't isolated. They get collected, aggregated, analyzed, and they build this persistent, often invisible digital profile of you. It's your shadow self living in servers and databases.
And who's building this profile? Is it just the websites we visit?
Well, yes, but it goes way beyond that. The major players here are data brokers. These are companies often operating behind the scenes whose entire business is collecting personal information from countless sources. They buy browsing data, purchase histories, public records, social media activity, location data from apps, everything. And they weave it all together into these incredibly detailed profiles.
That sounds kind of creepy. What do they do with these profiles? Just sell them for ads?
Ads are a big part of it, sure, targeted advertising, but it goes much deeper. This profiling is used for all sorts of things. Think about risk assessment for insurance. Maybe your online searches or social media posts suggest risky behavior. Loan applications, your inferred financial habits based on browsing or purchasing patterns.
Oh.
Even job prospects. Companies might purchase data to get a broader picture of candidates beyond their resume. It's used to make decisions that can significantly impact your life, often without you even knowing it's happening.
And the scary part is, as you said, data doesn't really disappear. Deleting something isn't always deleting it, is it?
Not in an absolute sense, no. When you delete a file on your computer, usually you're just removing the pointer to it. The data itself often remains until overwritten. Online, it's even more complex. That tweet you deleted, still probably in Twitter's backups, may be archived by third parties. Data gets cached, logged, backed up, aggregated by brokers. It has incredible persistence. Data breaches can expose information from years ago you thought was gone. It's like this vast interconnected web. Every strand you add potentially stays there, contributing to that overall digital ghost.
Okay, so given this persistence of data and the power of forensics, what's next? Looking ahead, what are the biggest challenges and maybe the biggest advancements coming in this field? Let's start with the headaches. What keeps forensic analysts up at night right now?
Encryption, without a doubt. It's a massive ongoing challenge. Full disk encryption on laptops, end-to-end encryption in messaging apps like Signal or WhatsApp. If you don't have the password or the key and the encryption is strong, you could hit a brick wall. The data is there, but it's effectively unreadable. It's a constant technological battle.
So strong encryption is great for user privacy, but a nightmare for investigation.
Exactly. It's that double-edged sword again.
And what about the fact that so much data isn't even on our devices anymore? It's in the cloud. How does cloud forensics work?
That's another huge area of complexity. Data stored in the cloud, think Google Drive, iCloud, AWS servers, isn't in one place. It's distributed, often across different countries. So getting access involves major legal hurdles. You need cooperation from the tech giants, subpoenas, navigating international laws like GDPR. It's often less about technical skill and more about legal process and patience. Very different from seizing a physical hard drive.
Right. And looking even further out, things like the metaverse, are we going to need forensic investigators for virtual worlds?
I think inevitably yes. As more interaction and commerce move into virtual reality environments, you'll see virtual crimes, theft of virtual assets, avatar impersonation, fraud involving NFTs, maybe even forms of virtual harassment. Forensics will have to adapt. How do you track an avatar's actions? How do you seize evidence from a persistent VR platform? It will likely involve blockchain analysis for assets, understanding platform logs, maybe new techniques we haven't even thought of yet.
Fascinating. So huge challenges, but are there advancements that offer hope for keeping up?
Definitely. The biggest game changer on the horizon is AI and machine learning. The sheer volume of data in modern investigations is overwhelming for humans alone. AI can help automate the grunt work sifting through terabytes of data to find patterns, flag anomalies, connect seemingly unrelated events much faster than a human could.
So AI won't replace analysts, but augment them.
Precisely. AI can handle the scale, identify potential leads, maybe even help reconstruct fragmented data or analyze malware behavior. But the interpretation, the critical thinking, the ethical judgment that still requires the human expert, it's about making analysts more effective. At the end of the day, as our world gets more digital forensics just becomes more vital. It's the discipline that helps ensure truth and accountability can still be found in that complex digital realm. It has to keep evolving.
Which brings it all back home, doesn't it? Back to your digital ghost. We've talked about the incredible power of these techniques to uncover truth for justice. But maybe the biggest takeaway for all of us is realizing that every single thing we do online contributes to this lasting digital presence, this spectral version of ourselves. And in a world where that data sticks around, where these tools exist, you actually have some power. You can choose to be more mindful about your digital hygiene. Take a few minutes to check your privacy settings on Facebook, Google, TikTok, whatever you use. Think about using a privacy-focused browser or maybe a VPN sometimes. Look at app permissions on your phone. Does that game really need your location? These might seem like small things, but they can genuinely help shape what your digital ghost looks like. So maybe the final thought is this. In a world where your digital ghost is always lurking, how will you tend your own digital garden to ensure your online afterlife is, well, less haunted and maybe a bit more harmonious? Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.